What's the point of spending over $1,000 on a new phone if it barely feels different from last year's model? That's the big question now that leaked specs for Google's upcoming Pixel 10 Pro and Pixel 10 Pro XL have started making the rounds, and if these details are accurate, the upgrades this year might leave even the most loyal Pixel fans scratching their heads. From the outside, both phones look almost identical to last year's Pixel 9 Pro and Pixel 9 Pro XL. That's not too surprising. Many phone makers keep the same design for a few years, but the surprise here is that the specs inside haven't changed all that much either. According to Android Headlines, which has a solid track record with Google leaks, the Pixel 10 Pro will come with a 6.3-inch OLED display. That display will offer a 2856 by 1280 pixel resolution, up to 3000 nits of brightness, and a refresh rate of 120 Hz. The display is still protected by Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2, the same as last year. So visually and physically, it's hard to tell the difference. Under the hood, we're finally seeing Google make a big shift, replacing Samsung's 4nm technology with TSMC's 3nm process for the new Tensor G5 chip. This should mean better performance and maybe even improved battery efficiency. But processors get faster every year. That alone doesn't make the Pixel 10 Pro a must-have upgrade. It will still come with 16 GB of RAM and storage options, starting at 128 GB, going all the way to 1 TB. The camera system seems nearly unchanged, too. The Pixel 10 Pro still features a 50 megapixels main sensor, a 48 megapixels ultra-wide lens, and a 48 megapixels telephoto lens with 5x optical zoom. Even the front camera sticks with a 42 megapixels sensor. It's possible the hardware has been slightly improved or tuned better, but if you're just looking at numbers on paper, it doesn't really scream next generation. Battery life is another area where we expected more. The Pixel 10 Pro's battery will reportedly increase to 4,870 mAh, just a small step up from last year's 4,700 mAh battery. Wired charging gets a slight bump too, from 27 watt to 29 watt. Wireless charging stays the same at 15 watt. That's barely noticeable for day-to-day use, and certainly not a headline feature. Now let's talk about the bigger Pixel 10 Pro XL. What if a small change in a wallpaper gave away one of Apple's biggest iPhone secrets of the year? That's exactly what might have happened in the second developer beta of iOS 26, where a simple wallpaper, the famous clownfish one, could have quietly revealed the screen resolution of the much-rumored iPhone 17 Air. According to a detailed analysis by Macworld, this updated wallpaper has a resolution of 420 by 912 at 3x, which, when converted, points to a display resolution of 2736 by 1260 pixels. No current iPhone model uses that resolution, which has led many to believe this could be tied to the iPhone 17 Air, Apple's rumored slim and lightweight iPhone model set to launch this fall. What makes this especially interesting is that the numbers almost perfectly match a prediction made in July 2020 by trusted TF Securities analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, who claimed the iPhone 17 Air, previously referred to as the iPhone 17 Slim, would feature a 2740 by 1260 pixel display. That's just a 4-pixel difference on one side, which could easily be due to software scaling or placeholder values. Kuo also mentioned that the phone would have a 6.6-inch OLED screen, and since then, most sources have agreed on that display size. So when you line up the leaked wallpaper resolution with Kuo's earlier prediction and the lack of any existing iPhone using that resolution, the odds that this wallpaper belongs to the iPhone 17 Air become much stronger. Beyond just resolution, the iPhone 17 Air is expected to bring several other upgrades. There are whispers that Apple may include promotion support on this model, which would bring a 120 Hz refresh rate to a thinner, non-Pro iPhone for the first time. That would make scrolling and animations much smoother compared to the 60 Hz panels used on current base models. Another detail being mentioned is the type of OLED panel. Rumors say Apple could use the M14 series OLED, which would reportedly be 30% brighter than what we have in the iPhone 16 lineup. A display that bright would significantly improve visibility in outdoor conditions, especially under direct sunlight. Internally, the iPhone 17 Air is expected to be powered by the A18 Bionic chip, giving it more speed and power efficiency, though. We don't yet know the exact battery size in mAh. However, if Apple uses its usual chip improvements, the new processor should help the phone last longer without needing a bigger battery, and because this model is focused on being slim, battery capacity may be slightly smaller than Pro models. Could Apple's next iPhone finally bring back the colors people actually miss, or is it just another false alarm? A new leak suggests that the iPhone 17 base model might come into fresh pastel shades, a soft green and a light purple. This rumor comes from leaker Majin Buu, someone who's been around in the Apple leak world for a while but hasn't always been on point. On Friday, Buu shared that Apple is currently testing these pastel options and even released images showing how they might look. The purple looks very close to the one Apple used in the iPhone 11 lineup, a gentle, almost lavender shade. The green, however, is deeper than the light green on the iPhone 15 and has more yellow tones than the mint green on the iPhone 12. According to Buu, only one of these colors might actually make it to the final version of the phone. And right now, purple is reportedly in the lead. While this might not sound like a major shift, color options have always been important in how Apple markets its base models. A fun, standout color can often give the standard iPhone a bit more personality, especially when compared to the Pro models, which usually stick with darker, more serious finishes. In the blog post that goes along with the leak, Buu also lists a few expected upgrades coming to the iPhone 17. These include a 120Hz display, which is something fans have wanted on the base model for a while now, especially since promotion has been limited to Pro models, and an aluminum frame rather than the stainless steel or titanium seen in higher-end versions. The camera system is also expected to get better, though it will still feature a dual-lens setup. What's different is the vertical alignment, which matches what we've already seen in leaked molds and dummy models of the iPhone 16. Internally, the iPhone 17 base model is rumored to use the A18 Bionic chip, which would mark a new generation of Apple's processors. While there's no official word yet on performance boosts, battery improvements, or mAh ratings, new chips usually bring better speed and power efficiency. It's worth pointing out, though, that Majin Buu doesn't always have the best track record. While some of their leaks do turn out to be accurate, often the kind you could guess based on Apple's usual release patterns, they've also shared predictions that completely missed the mark. For example, they claimed that the iPhone 15 Ultra would have two front-facing cameras, a design that never actually appeared. That makes this pastel rumor a bit of a gamble. Still, with all the other pieces lining up, from mold leaks to the expected layout, it's not out of the question that Apple might be trying to make its base models more appealing through design and color, especially if it wants to separate